We're back, baby.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, season 2.
This is season 2.
This is season 2, and this is
Episode
1. Season
So
2.
far, it's episode 1.
Yeah, episode 16 total, I believe. Yeah. Of this podcast.
Season 2, episode 1, minute 0.75.
Yep. Yeah.
And we're making history.
We're making history. Still nobody funding this podcast.
It's a mystery that keeps eluding us. Leave us your theories. Give us a 5-star review, and in the review, tell us who's funding the podcast.
You tell us if you're funding the podcast.
And what your credit card number is.
And bank account.
Prove it.
Mother's maiden name.
Yeah, we have to have hard evidence that that you are funding the podcast. Which I think answers kind of the question, what is this podcast, Doug?
Well, this is Who's Funding This Podcast? A podcast done by two somewhat skeptical comedians where we talk about conspiracy theories.
We talk about conspiracy theories.
I am your host, Doug Terranova.
I'm your other host, Maddy Bird.
Yeah. Hey, we remembered to do it.
We did it. Nice.
And all of season 2 will be on video.
On video.
So, yeah, cool.
And most likely all in this area.
Yeah, probably.
So get used to this.
I think it's a quaint little corner.
Thank you.
Where are we? No one knows.
Nope. And you will never know.
You'll never know.
We don't even know. But whoever is funding this podcast...
Somebody put a bag, like a hood over us, drove us here, and then dropped us off with podcast equipment. So it's pretty crazy.
So unless I like Sherlock Holmes my way out of it, do you remember the newer Sherlock Holmes movies where we said it smelled like bread on the third turn?
Yeah.
So I know exactly where we are.
Okay, that's actually a trope that I love. Like, geniuses, like, the plot device is, I'm a genius, so I know things.
Yes.
What is that? Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
I've not watched it, but they've got the genius on there. And, I've watched some, because this one episode I watched, he was, like, based on these burn patterns, I can tell that he was inside an industrial-sized dryer. And I'm like, that's not how knowing things works.
I like it in anime because they do this. See, you underestimated what you thought I would think about this situation, and that's how I know your mom's a bitch.
Anything new with you?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I've got a new show coming for if you're in the Kansas City area.
Okay.
It starts the last weekend of August, so if you're listening to this after that, it has started.
Ooh.
If you're listening to that before, just wait.
Yeah.
And then it will be after. That's how time works.
That's how time works. Tell me about this show.
It's called In the Birdcage with Maddy Bird.
I love that.
And I had not officially asked, but figured we'd both assumed that you're going to be on the debut show.
Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing about all of it. But yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to do every last Thursday of the month.
Oh, nice.
Subject to change. But it's going to be a Thursday show at 7. It's only $10 to get in.
Where is it?
It's going to be at Farewell Bar on Stadium Drive.
Toby Keith's Farewell Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big ass Hams can outside.
Yeah, so I have a conspiracy that I want to talk about before we get into our actual conspiracy theory.
Okay, and is that what's new with you?
Yeah.
Okay, is this conspiracy
I was thinking about it on the way here, actually. Because on the way here, I saw a perfectly intact temp tag from 2022. And I want to know how all these Kansas Cityans have perfectly intact paper tags from years ago. It's an epidemic.
Yes.
And so there's a cabal.
I was driving behind one today. Like, I literally, and this is the crazy thing, is I left the registrar's office to get a car. Get a license plate. Oh my god, being old is hard.
Yeah.
To get a license plate, and I'm driving behind somebody who has an expired temp tag.
Well, I feel like if I get pulled over in Kansas City, I'm going to be mad.
It's a farce.
I'm going to be mad. Because, like, no, you can go pull over those people first. I paid my taxes.
Exactly. Also, make taxes less.
Yeah.
In Missouri property taxes piss me off.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, you're doing well.
Yeah, doing well. Totally balanced chemically.
Yeah, 100% with it. Yeah. I can see that in you.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Should we get tattoos on Friday the 13th? This is the month for that, maybe?
Oh, is this Friday the 13th?
I think there's one, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
That'll make it better.
It will make it better. Okay, so I do want to just jump in because there's a lot to cover today.
Okay.
So the conspiracy theory that we're kicking off season 2 with
is...
Well, okay, first of all.
Yes.
I want to say, so last season, I feel like I gave a lot of very dense, thinky sort of things, you know, like the Havana syndrome, the Pope thing.
Right.
Other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of other things. Another episode I did.
There was a lot of murder on your side.
There was a lot of murder. So, I didn't really do a lot of out there crazy shit. Like...
Can't relate.
The Mummy's Curse on the Titanic was probably... No, yeah, you did. So I'm going to flip the script a little bit. And this isn't something that I believe.
Okay.
But, spoiler for later on in the season.
Yeah.
I did find my one conspiracy theory.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I found it, and then maybe a 2-part episode. I don't know. There's a lot.
Okay.
But I'm just going to do an off-the-wall crazy one.
Okay.
And maybe do some more of those. Today I'm talking about a conspiracy theory named Project Bluebeam.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so before we get in, do you know anything about this?
No, just that we have talked about it before.
Yes.
And any and all of those conversations have slid off my smooth brain.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is still starting afresh.
This is all new. The way I heard about it, and I knew it was just going to be wild, is a guy that went to my high school who is certifiable.
There's always one.
Commented on somebody else's Facebook status that had nothing to do with this. And we're like, well, if you actually look at Project Bluebeam, you would know this and this. And I was like, it's got
oh my God, he really did the thing. He really said.
He was like, well, actually. Yeah, drugs, don't do them, kids. But so I was like, I know this is going to be fucking nuts. And I was right.
Okay.
So Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory, surprise, that believes that NASA and the UN are trying to create a new world order.
It's always a new world order.
It's always... Listen, if there's things that we love on this podcast, it's the new world orders, blurry photographs...
Chaos and excessive secrecy.
Chaos and excessive secrecy.
Spooky tunnels. And that's it.
The Masons?
We haven't done the Freemasons yet.
We touched on all.
Yeah. Secret societies.
Secret societies as a whole. Yeah. But yeah, so they want to do a new world order. And I guess so, because we have brought it up several times, the base description of what a new world order is replacing all of the world's government with one totalitarian government. Yeah, that's basically what it is, and that's what it is in the definition of this too. So they want to do that, and they plan to do that by implementing a new age religion headed by the Antichrist. And they'll do this by using advanced technology to trick people into believing their religion.
Which there's advanced technology.
Yeah.
That exists.
Yeah, religions.
If you take one thing away from this podcast, it's that the religion is the conspiracy theory. I can't tell you the number of times I've thought about our podcast and only Jesus jokes for minutes at a time.
Well, like our season finale of season 1, where we were drunk. Guys.
That was Avril Lavigne's fault.
That was an accident.
Yeah.
That was, and listen, you might be like, well, how do you get drunk by accident? By trying one of Avril Lavigne's favorite drink, vodka and champagne.
Period.
One drink. We didn't have drinks.
Just one.
Just one. Not even a big, well, kind of a big pour for champagne.
Yeah.
But, it was a
good time.
I've never been so discombobulated.
Just trying to piece it together in any kind of coherent way was impossible.
It was impossible. So sorry. But
I'm not. I'm
not sorry, actually.
It was fun.
Actually, a lot of people have given feedback that they liked that because it was like very drunk history.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. That was an accident.
Okay, if that works for us, maybe we'll get invited to the show.
Maybe we'll get drunk again.
Maybe.
I mean, it's likely.
It's likely.
Anyways.
If we do the show on another day where we're not both just horribly exhausted, maybe I'll make Jell-O shots.
Yeah. Oh God. Do you think maybe the Antichrist is Avril Lavigne's clone, Melissa?
It could be.
Could be.
It could be that's why they had to kill Avril Lavigne, because she was the Antichrist.
Oh.
But she was premature.
Oh, preemie Antichrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Classic
preemie
Antichrist.
Classic preemie Antichrist. We've seen him before, we'll see him again.
Right. It's never the right time.
So, Project Bluebeam. First proposed in the 90s by a journalist turned conspiracy theorist named Serge Monast. I believe he's Canadian, like from Montreal.
Monast.
Okay. Maybe it's Sergei. No, that's Russian. I think it's Serge. I tried to look up the pronunciation. And so the thing about Serge Monast is I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out he had schizophrenia or something. Because he was, before he turned into just a full-time, full-blown conspiracy theorist centered all around this Project Bluebeam. He was a journalist, an essayist, a poet. I already said journalist.
Then he was a journalist again.
So there's not a lot known about his work that was done in the 70s and 80s while he was a journalist and poet and writer, which does not, I feel like, bode well for his writing ability.
Yeah.
Like he didn't win any Pulitzers, you know. That's probably before we start bashing on Serge. Yeah.
He could just be average. And that's okay,
yeah,
everybody.
He could, I guess, like, when you think, because he was an investigative journalist. When you think investigative journalist, you think, like, hard-hitting guy working for the Times, uncovering truths.
And, like, the hat, it's always raining.
But he could have just been, like, from a small town in Indiana.
Right.
Investigating whatever there is to investigate there.
This, which I can only imagine, is the stairway to heaven.
I imagine...
It's a blue beam.
It's a blue beam.
And it shoots you into heaven.
I imagine if he was an investigative journalist in small town Indiana, that's why he was also an essayist and a poet, because there just was a lot of free time.
But those are all writing. If you're a journalist, aren't you also an essayist and a poet?
I guess you're always an essayist if you're a journalist.
That's true.
Anyway, we don't know what he wrote.
Whether or not he could even write is still under question.
Yeah.
But this is what he said.
But in the 90s, he published a document titled Project Bluebeam, parenthetically, NASA.
Okay.
So the document said that NASA, the Pentagon, and the UN...
Right, my three faves. Daddies. Government daddies.
They were making this new religion that they were going to use to transition everybody into this new world order. And they were planning on jump-starting that religion by faking alien invasions and faking a staged second coming of Christ.
Okay.
In doing this, they would eliminate all world religions, including Christianity, which the second coming of Christ, I don't know. But, and that would make way for a one world religion.
Okay, so we have to stop here just so I can interject. That if I could go ahead and buy this, because in recent years, in 2023, we had our first official court case about alien technology, which we did an episode about.
Yeah, it's popped off since then.
Yeah. So now we're like, there's stuff that we don't understand, and Kanye has already admitted to being the second coming of Christ.
So we have it.
We're first two steps are done.
And I guess, so I'll elaborate more, but on the second coming of Christ thing, but it's really not just the second coming of Christ. It would be whatever Messiah in every major world religion, or fill in the blank. You know, somebody's coming back in all of them.
Right, right. So, I hear what you're saying, but I stand by what I said about Kanye.
Yeah. Well, Kanye's obviously the second coming of Christ. And thanks to Jonah Hill, he's okay with the Jews now.
Yeah, right.
So that's good.
He could. So then Messiah.
Yeah. So
It's just
so
that's an A to B pipeline right there.
So the one world religion would, according to Monast, eliminate all national pride, national identities, and families as we know it today, which would pave the way to bring about the New World Order. Because you're getting rid of pretty much every institution where somebody gets their identity. Okay. And I always, I don't know, but whenever I hear destroying families as we know it, I'm like, oh, you're a homophobe. Yeah. I just assume.
No, but they want to bring about destroying the families.
Well, yeah, so the Pentagon not phobes.
Homoerotic.
Homoerotic.
I knew that sexy little that sexy little Pentagon was gay. Mm-hmm.
5 sides. What do you need that for? 5 dudes.
Government daddies. Okay, so they're eliminating religion
and national identity, national pride,
family pride, family pride.
So
family
pretty much,
unit.
anything that you would make your identity off of.
Okay,
they're stripping that away, whatever your core value is, I guess.
Yeah, or there's no more community.
Yeah,
there's only this order.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. They're stripping away your community. Okay. To place another one in. Okay. Which would be the order you would do that, I guess.
What if my community is only the spiders that live in my walls?
I hope not. Well, I won't come over. Is the problem. I'm waging... So, I have a spider problem in my basement. Yeah. And they're taking over, and I'm waging war. Yeah. I bought some poison. Nice. And I'm going to kill them all. And before you guys say any fucking thing, I know. Yeah. I know everything you're going to say. The spiders have to die.
Yeah. There is a balance. There is a level.
They can stay outside my house all they want.
Yeah. So there are spiders that live inside my walls, but when they enter our bedroom... And there are brown recluses, and I mean 10 at a time brown recluses. That was too many. So those had to die. And I will tell you, peppermint is probably the single best thing that I've invested in.
I've heard peppermint, and I thought about just getting a diffuser for peppermint.
That's what I did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyways, you have so many brown recluse problems in your life. They're
more than anybody else.
They're from place to place. This is your third place in a row you've had brown recluse.
I know. The last place that I lived was literally the only place where I didn't have any bug problems. I saw 3 spiders in there total, maybe a handful of bugs, and now they're back in my life.
And I get old buildings, old houses, but anyway. So they're gonna strip away our community.
My spiders.
Your spiders are gonna. They're gonna use my poison to kill your spiders. I will let them. And then they're gonna bring about the New World Order. According to Monast, they're gonna do that in 4 steps. Okay. And so that's we're not doing any different conspiracy theories. It's all one, but we're just gonna kind of break down what each of the 4 steps are. Okay. And they are important that these steps go in this order. Got it. So, before we do, what are your thoughts on the overview of Project Bluebeam?
All right, if we include Kanye in the argument. Yeah. I will give it a non-zero answer. Okay. Because it is true that there are things taking place in the world right now where there is a great division and an attempt to come back under a singular tyrannical rule with all the far right people across the globe.
That's true.
Okay, however, the bit about the aliens, the bit about a second coming of Christ, and I know that I said for Kanye, but I don't think. It doesn't seem like that's the way to go. Yeah,
it only gets less plausible, honestly. But I think if you were to ask, do governments manipulate people through their religion or try to influence culture via religion? Yes. Absolutely, 100%. I think that there's undeniable proof of that. Do I think that the UN of all things is doing that. No. And this is where...
My government daddy would never.
Conspiracy theorists get optimistic again. Mm-hmm. The UN does nothing.
That's true.
The UN has no ability to do anything.
It's not like a place or like a thing. It's like all of these people have agreed to be a part of it.
And they don't really... Listen, they don't do anything. They do humanitarian stuff.
Yeah.
They don't really do anything.
So, like, if you were to bring about a new world order, this is the thing that is... this is the double-edged sword about the new world order. Mm-hmm. If you were going to bring about the new world order by using the government to manipulate the people into a new world order, then you have already achieved the new world order.
Yeah, if you're already in power, why are you making a power play?
Yeah.
Though I guess it could be said, like, they're trying to make it more permanent, I guess. I don't know.
Are they going, like, this is what I think about when I think about the New World Order nowadays. Mm-hmm. Is, like, I think about eugenics and, like, stuff like that. And I'm like, is it going to be, like, a race of cyber people?
I hope so.
Is, like, that...
I'm on board.
Is that what they mean by New World Order? Because there's already a world order.
Yeah. It's not going well, but it's there.
But like, because like I'm just saying people are already doing a bad job of being in charge of themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like a new world order would be like just like
somebody else needs to be
like a group of horses.
Okay, I would let dolphins be in charge. Actually, dolphins are kind of dicks.
Yeah, dolphins are a little bit sadistic.
But so are we, I guess.
Yeah.
If they made a new world order and they're like, we're taking care of the earth and we're keeping you alive so we can keep exploiting you. So here's universal healthcare and universal basic income.
And I'm cool with that.
I'm fine. You can exploit me all you want.
So then, I mean, if we look at genetics, then we have octopods, which have one of the larger genomes in the world.
Yeah.
And so, if we could have an octopus be in charge, New World Order.
Yeah. Did you know? And I don't know enough to talk about this really intelligently. That's true of everything, but
for you and I both.
But there's like an octopus war going on in the ocean near Australia.
Octopod relationships, craziness.
Like there's two distinct sides. It's wild.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, that's kind of interesting, right? Because we never really had, as far as I understand it, prior to now, really thought of octopods as a social species.
Yeah.
Only to find out that there are, like, networks.
Extremely social. Yeah.
And, like, territories and, like, what you could consider, like, an underwater, like, apartment setup for them.
They may be smarter than us. We don't know.
So this is the New World Order that I hope for.
Yeah, same. Okay, yeah.
And that's Project Blue Beam.
Blue Beam is...
the blue part is the ocean.
Oh.
And then there's a beam. This shoots you into heaven.
Yes. That's it. You got it. Yeah. We're done. Okay. So let's do the 4 steps here. Step 1 of Project Bluebeam is the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge via earthquakes.
Right, of course.
So that might require some explanation.
Yep.
Okay. So in Monast's own words, step 1 deals with the setup of earthquakes at certain precise locations of the planet where supposedly new discoveries will suddenly explain the wrong meaning of all major religions' basic doctrines. I'll say it again. No, I won't. I'll rephrase. Okay. I'll paraphrase.
Okay.
So basically, what he's saying is Project Bluebeam intends to bury, quote-unquote, ancient evidence that would disprove all of the world religions.
Right.
So, like, in India, it would be something that disproves Hinduism. In Rome, something that disproves Catholicism. So, like, regionally. So they would do that and then cause earthquakes so that it would be, like, suddenly revealed.
Okay.
And
kind of like an Indiana Jones.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking of, is Indiana Jones. So, yeah, like, it would be like an archaeological discovery and be like, oh my god, look at this.
Oh my, look, Doug, you have to see what we've discovered.
And, like, to me, this is the first sticking point. what the fuck are you planting?
That's what I want to know. I have several questions about this.
Yeah.
My first question, like you said, what are you planting?
Yeah.
Number 2, earthquakes usually happen in distinct places already. Those are fault lines.
Yep.
Number 3 question. To disprove all of religions across the world. Everything, so all religions of all types, there'll be an artifact, right? A chalice.
Various artifacts. Yeah.
Of something. Now, let me just throw this out there.
Okay.
What if, in fact, that was just evolutionary biology? So what if in fact we just reburied
evolutionary biology,
like all of the things that we like bones links. that we have discovered, all of the things that we have, just papers on like biological carbon.
Well, if they're trying to use science to disprove religion, I have really bad news for them.
But they're kind of trying to, because archaeology is a science.
Well, the devil buried the dinosaur bones to disprove God.
Ah, right, of course. Yeah. Okay, I forgot about that. That's actually I just should shut the fuck up.
When I was young, somebody told me that in earnest. And it was a full adult said this and believed it.
That sounds like it was a very transformative moment for you in your life.
It was.
Yeah.
When I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah, like that is hard. That's like hardcore lore where you're like, my life is different now that this has happened to me.
I don't think I can keep going along with this. Also, I'm gay.
Yeah. What if they're just burying a bunch of gay people?
Look, they were always there.
Okay.
So the thing that you mentioned about the earthquakes, that they happen along fault lines. One, most of them happen along fault lines.
Oh.
Not all of them.
Okay.
But also, earthquakes can be caused by human activity. That's measured. So according to the United States Geological Survey, the following things can cause man-made earthquakes.
Okay.
Impoundment of reservoirs.
Yeah.
Surface and underground mining.
Makes sense.
Withdrawal of fluids and gases from the subsurface.
Okay, makes sense.
And injections of fluids into underground formations.
Sure, I'm following.
So, yeah, if you just fuck with fluids, the Earth's fluids.
I can relate.
It will cause an earthquake.
Okay, I love learning stuff. Okay, that makes sense though, right? Like you're disrupting your like immediate surroundings, pressure and otherwise equilibrium.
Yeah, and things like fracking, which I guess would be the withdrawal of fluids and gases from the subsurface, has caused man-made earthquakes before. That's actually when I lived in Oklahoma, we had, for Oklahoma, a pretty large earthquake. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty widely believed that was because of fracking.
Ah.
Or something. I don't know.
Today I learned. Okay.
But, so there are so it's kind of a point in the pro column, and it's probably the only one, is that we can do that. We can make the earthquakes. Now, it would have to be earthquakes so big that I imagine it cracked a huge...
Like a rock
fissure into
like a King Arthur.
Yes, exactly.
Excalibur moment.
So it's very fantasy-esque.
Okay.
The concept or sci-fi-esque. Yeah, it's fantastical.
Yeah.
I think the picture that Serge Manasse has in his head.
Yeah.
But apparently, so the UN would take point on this. Once the quote-unquote artifacts are revealed, they would use them to support a lie that they would tell that is used to control people. The lie would be, look, this is obviously the real religion. Mm-hmm. All of your religions are fake. Mm-hmm. So believe us. Because you know how the UN is involved in religion?
That's the only thing I know them for. Okay, so what they want to do is it's just getting more and more fantastical.
You're not even ready.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to bury fake evidence. Mm-hmm. But we've lost the plot on the Antichrist. So is the Antichrist... Oh, no,
don't worry.
Okay, the Antichrist is coming back.
He's in a later step.
Okay, so we're disproving... So this is the thing.
Okay, I don't know.
This is a crazy thing to me. We're disproving all religions with this new religion, but that doesn't have anything to do with the Antichrist yet.
Exactly.
So, but why wouldn't we just disprove all religions by having the Antichrist come back? immediately?
Well, because I think so. I think in Serge Monet's Boiled Brain, the idea is that Project Bluebeam first needs to strip things away to put something else there.
Okay.
That's the theme I'm getting.
Okay.
So they're stripping away the world religions.
Right.
So they can control people. So at this point, they're not even introducing their new religion yet.
Okay.
They're saying all of your religions are wrong.
Okay.
Obviously.
Does he give an example of what this could possibly be?
No, he does not.
Because I am having a hard time. I'm going to say 2 out of 10 so far.
Okay.
To be extremely generous.
Like maybe they found Jesus's bones.
Right.
And so like he
and
never
like, carved in there. Jesus.
They said this is Jesus
from God.
He's still here.
Oh my God, that would be blasphemous.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you what other. I don't think I know other religions well enough to know.
That I mean, it's just like, okay, so it's so fascinating to me. I also do not know other religions well enough to speak on them, but I know that I think all human cultures, if not a religion, do have a origin myth.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I'm like, that's where you would go, right? So no matter where you are in the world, you replace the origin myth.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe
also,
it's just a big seed.
I think that this presupposes that everyone's religious.
That's also the thing.
Like, wouldn't this just embolden atheists to keep believing their atheistic beliefs?
So, like, also, if he was, like, thinking about this in, like, 1970s, like, you're too late.
Also,
you should have done this in the 1400s.
When it was easier to convince people.
And there were fewer people.
Would it not be suspicious? I don't know, maybe these are spaced out over decades, but would it not be suspicious to be like, earthquakes all over the world just happened right now to disprove all of the world's religions independently?
You're right.
But maybe he didn't. I don't think he really gave a timeline. I need because this is a plan. I want timestamps. Okay, so I will
attachments.
I will get to one conspiracy theorist timestamps that go all the way back to 1947.
Yeah.
So it could be that this is just a slow burn plan.
It has to be.
And I don't understand why anybody would do that.
Because then it would be obvious.
Well, let's say you and I want to start a new world order.
Right, of course we do.
We'll be like, okay, in 100 years, our plan will come to fruition.
Yeah.
I no longer care.
I'm gonna Rob Lowe myself into being so healthy that I live for 100 years. But you're right. But some people are obsessed with not obsessed with it, but legacy is an important thing to a lot of people.
Yeah,
and that's not bad. But that could be a motivating factor.
Yeah, I guess it's not uncommon to have something bigger than yourself.
Can't relate. As comedians, can't relate.
I care about me.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Yeah. But, okay. So, conspiracy theorists who believe in Project Bluebeam have also pointed out that there's more seismic activity recorded across the globe in these past couple decades.
Okay.
Which is
That's
true.
Just true, yeah.
It's true. According to the ComCat Earthquake Catalog, there have been more earthquakes on average in the past few years. However, it's not necessarily because there are more earthquakes. There is a lot more seismic recording going on. Some more seismic instruments around the world to record more earthquakes.
Okay.
So probably the same number of earthquakes, more recordings of it.
Okay. But wouldn't there be because we have man-made earthquakes?
Well, I guess that would bump
but
the
maybe not like this vast percentage, but maybe a little bit.
It would at least cause a little bump, I guess.
Yeah, but that all makes sense, right? We're measuring more,
We are causing more. Of course we are,
Right.
Of course we are.
We just got to put our hand in that pot. Okay.
All right.
I'm following.
So, that is step one. So step one, earthquakes, artifacts to disprove religions.
Got it.
Step two, Sorry.
Wait, before we go to step 2, I'm still at 2 out of 10. Where are you at?
Is the 2 out of 10 we can do earthquakes and we would if we could?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, 2 out of 10 for me too. Yeah. Step 2. This show, I'm a comedian. And this fucking podcast makes me say some of the most ludicrous things that have ever come out of my mouth. So, that being said, step 2 is a giant light show and advanced holograms that will simulate the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what the plot of Spider-Man 2 is, Away From Home.
You're right. Oh my god. Yeah, that's...
So this, which is a documentary.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is evil.
Right. We know that from Taylor Swift.
I think, guys, you need to know that Jake Gyllenhaal is evil.
Still has her scarf. the red.
Yeah, the red
scarf.
You know, here's the thing. He's just so sweet. But evil.
But evil. But Tom Holland is a sweet, good boy.
He's a sweet, good boy.
Yeah.
And he deserves his love with the various Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, the Giant Light Show, advanced holograms. A lot of Project Bluebeam from here on out is holograms.
Okay.
Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Okay.
So after they plant all the false evidence and then causing the earthquakes to reveal it, the next step, the execution of Project Bluebeam will be to put on a worldwide light show.
Right.
And that'll simulate the second coming.
Love it.
NASA is obviously taking over at this point.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
Satellites,
exactly. They're using a network of satellites to project 3D holograms via lasers. Another quote from Monast: "The show will consist of laser projection of..."
I like that it's a show.
I love it. Like those the Pink Floyd laser shows. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm imagining. The show will consist of laser projection of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different message according to the predominating religion/national religious faith.
But you can't possibly project to every single person on every single part of the world.
So I think that they're thinking that there's satellites. I don't know, but that's not even the big problem for me.
What's the big problem for you?
Why?
I like that we haven't asked why until step 2.
We just got rid of the world religions, and now you want their messiahs to collectively come back?
Yeah, right.
So which is it?
That's a good question, but maybe that's the point, to steep all people across the world in confusion.
Oh, okay.
So that way the New World Order can be like, I can make sense of all of this.
I think we can skip step 1 and 2 then. We did it. We're there. We did it ourselves.
It's true. I think at this point there are not, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, there are not any populations of people that are completely isolated. I think the last one did have human contact, like in Brazil.
I think there's still a few in the
There are still a few? Okay.
And then there's an estimated amount that they haven't even found.
Okay, kind of love that. Okay, so perfect. So then if that's the case...
You know, they don't get invited to the party. They're not in the current world order.
I mean, what do you... Like, there's a tree canopy in the Amazon. That's just the Amazon.
That's true. Yeah, what do you do in the jungle? There's lots of jungle out there.
Yeah.
What about the mole people?
What about Atlantis?
What about Atlantis?
How are they going to see the light show?
What about me? I don't go outside.
That is true.
Yeah.
Neither do I. If you'd like to prove it, if you'd like for us to prove it, just watch the video version of this show.
Yeah, we are inside.
And pale.
Oh my god, so pale. Actually, I look kind of tan in this. I was thinking that earlier. It's the light. It's the warm light. It's not real.
Oh, nice.
This is a tan version of me. So each region would see deities from the major religion in their area.
Okay.
Then according to Monast, each of these deities would merge into one.
Okay.
Forming a new messiah.
Right. I haven't seen it, but I'm 97% sure that this is the plot of Supernatural.
Well, it's that 1% that got you. But so they have like Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, all, and then that I guess somehow are merging into each other, even though they're in different parts of the world. Maybe this is
because it's like a really big light
maybe
show.
This is very big,
right? So we can all see it,
and we can be like, "There's Jesus, over there's Muhammad, down there is Buddha."
They're all maybe they projected onto the moon.
Oh, see, that would be smart.
Because everybody can see the moon.
You just have to do it twice.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times.
Maybe, and that, but yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Yeah. So he went on to say, this one God will in fact be the Antichrist, who will explain the various scriptures. Wait, I copy and pasted this, so this is his grammatical error. Who will explain that the various scriptures have been misunderstood, that the religions of all are responsible for turning brother against brother and nation against nation. Therefore, the world's religions must be abolished to make way for the golden age.
Okay, well, I don't dislike that.
That's not bad writing either, honestly.
I mean, I love the idea of togetherness.
So, I think... obviously, this version of the Antichrist is a hologram.
Right.
But...
Oh my god, kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. But maybe it could be a hologram that will reflect a real-life person. Or maybe it's just the idea of the Antichrist. He's going to come and give this message saying, abolish your religions.
Maybe
and then
like
everyone is going to
voice.
Listen.
Is there going to be sound?
I imagine there has to be. Because he is going to explain, unless there's subtitles... Because I don't think that that's possible. Yeah, I guess that's not how lasers work.
Nor is it how sound works across the whole world.
Yeah, it's not how a lot of things work so far.
I wonder, and also lots of people around the world speak lots of different languages.
I think that's true.
So if you were to write it out.
So also what's important to know is if you're wondering where he got any sort of idea of this, there's nothing. Okay. He just came up with it. There wasn't, I found these documents or I think this thing because of this. He just came up with this idea. Okay. Which is why I'm like, did you have a psychotic break? Which, if you did, sorry that we're making fun of you. So, and I think the other question that it really begs is, how would this demonstration, even if it, because I think but maybe he has too much faith in humanity again, that they would be presented with evidence and change their minds based on that evidence.
Yeah, and that this wouldn't just like cause like all out panic.
Yeah, how would this convince everyone on Earth?
Again, we need examples of what is like all we know right now is that it's all of the religions together combining into one. And everybody at the same time will all have the same idea.
Yeah, so...
This is our God.
Yeah, well, he has an answer for that. He says, in another quote, such rays from satellites are fed from the memories of computers that have stored massive data about every human on Earth and their languages. The rays will then interface with their natural thinking to form what we call diffuse artificial thought.
I need you to say that again.
Such rays from satellites are fed from the memories of computers that have stored massive data about every human on Earth and their languages.
Okay.
The rays will then interface with their natural thinking to form what we call diffuse artificial thought.
Oh, okay. So it's funny that you say that because in my head I was like, let's move to like a Blade Runner Matrix situation rather than a light show, which definitely would not work because of all of physics. What if you, at this point, with your advanced technology, put like a microchip in everybody's head and then just turned it on at the same time?
And now this is, like, they do move into some way of telepathically communicating for the rest of Project Bluebeam. Okay.
Because you'd have to, because otherwise this wouldn't make any sense, but now I'm on board.
So, but the thing is, too, I think, listen, if we're exceeding our budget, I know where we can cut. The satellites and the fucking lasers. If it's already there, if you can already transmit an idea into someone's head...
Then we don't need the light show.
You can make them see something.
Honestly, if we have that, then we don't need step 1 or step 2.
Yeah, or
you just
any of it.
You just turn it on, and then everybody
will think that they're having these thoughts.
They'll be transmitted. Yeah. All of the thoughts from the memories of the computers.
Hey, you know what? I think we would make a really good New World Order.
I think
we're efficient.
I think that we should. It's our next podcast. It's a consulting firm.
Consulting firm for the New World Order. Amazing. So it's also it's. I guess we have to note at this point that we'll say doubters.
We are not.
No. We fully believe this. Doubters will kind of believe that Serge Monast was partially influenced with this part here by the premise of a never-released Star Trek movie called The God Thing. And at The God Thing, an extra-dimensional creature comes to Earth and claims to be the one true God, disproving all other religions. And the script is out there. Monast obviously never confirmed that.
Well, I want to say, like, I'm not going to say that there is no such thing as an unoriginal story, but I am going to say that if it exists once, it probably exists elsewhere.
Don't they say that there's like 10 stories?
Yeah. So I feel like if there's this, then there was probably others similar that he's taking a lot of inspiration from, especially because I've name dropped like 8 movies that this has become the plot of.
He and Gene Roddenberry were like this.
Yes. It's like, let's do The Matrix, let's do Blade Runner, we've got Spider-Man, Iron Man, Supernatural.
Star Trek Now.
Although I was wrong about Supernatural, so scratch that. 5.
Yeah. The Antichrist was real in that one. Yeah, not a hologram. That we know of. And they kept going to hell, so like they just took turns going to hell.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much step 2. Step 2 is the giant light show. With I guess I want to spend a second more on the diffused artificial thought.
I love it. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, because he doesn't explain. I guess he does. He doesn't explain how that technology works, but I guess he doesn't have to.
Well, that's just, I mean, he's saying diffuse. I'm going to use the word influence.
Okay.
So if we use the word influence and you are subconsciously subjected to, which we are, subliminal messaging, and I don't mean like scary subliminal messaging, I mean your brain is designed to pick up patterns, and if you see the same thing over and over again, it'll stick in there.
Well, actually, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think, again, mostly just because you can do this, and because it is so overcomplicated, that's very human.
That's
so
true.
I'm going to go 3 out of 10. I'm going to give it 1 more point.
And, okay, so I will give another point in the pro column, and I need you guys to know, I don't believe this.
I mostly just like the creativity.
Yeah, it's very creative. So when I said I wasn't going to do dense episodes this season, there is the densest episode that I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
That I'm going to talk about this same phenomenon, tangentially. But there is something called infrasonic sound.
Okay.
It's the same idea as infrared. It's just below infrared's below the visible spectrum. This is below the audible spectrum. In infrasonic sound, heavily can influence you psychologically, can create a state of fear and panic. So there is, and that kind of goes back to the Havana syndrome, sonic weaponry. There's ideas out there there's things out there that could support this idea if this idea wasn't wackadoodle crazy.
Okay. See, that's the thing, is that there's pieces of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like he just kind of heard about them living his life in journalism.
Yeah.
And then put it all together.
In Indiana. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It took a while to get to Indiana. Well, you know what's in Indiana?
Tell me.
Stranger Things.
Sure is.
And you know when that was? The 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It was the 80s?
The 80s.
And so he was investigating Hawkins, Indiana, and that's what made him stop being an investigative journalist, essayist, and poet.
Football player, astronaut.
Yeah. All of it. So that's step 1 and 2.
Okay.
We feel pretty confident about that. I didn't give a rating. You said 3 out of 10.
I said 3 out of 10.
I am going to say, unfortunately, One
1 out of 10?
out of 10. The 1 is, I guess, satellites are real.
So I'm gonna give
So are lasers.
So are lasers. But so here I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10 in that this is a theory.
Yes.
But I don't believe that it would work.
Yeah. Like, what we know, theories are real.
Potentially this was a real human being.
Yeah.
And who wrote this stuff down.
NASA exists.
That's true, so does the UN.
Yep, and the Pentagon. Oh my god.
Well, debatable.
I think that's the least debatable. It's there. I've seen it.
That's true.
My dad worked there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of.
That's more Doug lore.
Yeah.
Okay,
Where hasn't he worked?
I do feel like I'm being, like, dishonest with 3 out of 10. I'm going to say 2.5 out of 10 because I'm going in a direction of, like, this is a plan. Do I think this is actually... I think this is his plan. I don't think that this is the government's
he's
plan.
not like, they're doing this. He's like, this is
a pitch.
A government.
Yes. Yeah. he's like, get me Hillary Clinton! I've got an idea!
I love that. It's in the 90s. So Bill Clinton is president, but then he even sees, he's like, Hillary's running it.
Hillary's in charge.
Okay, step 3. Step 3 is simple and complex at the same time.
Okay.
Telepathic thought control by the Antichrist.
So is the Antichrist is fake still?
Yes.
Okay.
But maybe not.
Okay.
And this is actually, so you remember I talked about infrasonic is literally 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This is where that comes more into play also, because we're going to talk a little bit more about the diffuse artificial thought, but also kind of why it's fine. Anyways, so the Project Bluebeam conspiracy theorists believe that NASA will use ELF, VLF, and LF radio waves, which is extra low or extremely low frequency, very low frequency, and low frequency radio waves.
Okay.
So they're low. Down here.
Gotcha.
To telepathically communicate with humans in an attempt to shape their beliefs. Monash says that the telepathic messaging will be a version of mind control that will trick people into believing that these aren't like coming from the government, but these thoughts are actual conversations they're having with God. An actual messages from God.
I was wondering, but I do see now how you could think that schizophrenia or paranoia was part of this person's life.
Yeah. The paranoid delusions are real.
And being spoken to.
Yeah.
But in such a way where other people are experiencing it, which, you know, understandable. I gotta be honest with you, I am starting to
Is it starting to come?
Not believe.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm going the other direction. We've gone up, and I'm coming down.
Now, I will say that I got the opportunity to kind of nerd out while I was researching this because I got to look up VLF waves and ELF and LF. But for the purpose of everything I'm about to say, we're just going to talk about VLF and ELF frequencies. And fascinating, honestly.
Yeah.
So there are no devices currently capable of transmitting VLF and ELF radio waves.
Okay.
Allegedly. According to the Stanford VLF group, you could theoretically use VLF frequencies to transmit radio waves across the world. Lightning actually does this. A strike of lightning causes a minute blip on radio waves halfway across the world.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of how they know this.
That these wavelengths do exist.
That the wavelengths exist and that the wavelengths can be transmitted to the other side of the world.
Lightning is a positive and negative charge. So we're talking about the displacement of electrons that cause for the lightning to occur is a rapid exchange of energy that causes the light. I believe.
Yeah, and so it really has a lot to do with the height of the lightning as well.
Okay.
Because the thing about ELF and VLF waves is they are long. They are over 100 kilometers long.
Ooh.
And here's something interesting.
Well, that's why it stops it halfway across the world.
Yeah.
That's Because that's
how
far
far
that
it is. Yeah, we don't know the metric system. How you transmit radio waves? You need an antenna that is comparable to the wavelength being projected. So it has to be something that's as long as the wavelength in order to send the wavelength. These things are over 100 kilometers long.
Gotcha.
So right now it is impossible. Theoretically impossible. Well, I guess it's theoretically possible if you could build an antenna long enough. But we can't do that.
New plan. We build an antenna. The top of the antenna is the moon. Then we could transmit radio waves of any size.
Do you remember... So when cars had antennas, the little antenna balls? That's what the moon is.
Yes,
yeah, it's
exactly.
like the little antenna ball.
And then we could communicate and do the same thing in all of the other worlds.
All of them? Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Did you see that, I want to say Elon Musk was saying we should go to Venus? No, it wasn't Musk. It was Jeff Bezos, I think. It was one of them.
Why do billionaires don't want to get off the planet so bad?
I want them to get off the planet so bad.
Seriously, with the way that they do it, just trying to get down to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I won't follow you into space.
No,
you know
absolutely not. I mean, he's like Musk is all Mars focused, and I think Bezos, because he has his whatever space program too.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's really going to revolutionize Amazon. But he was saying that we could live in the like stratosphere of Venus, basically.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
That's an insane thought.
It is. It is an insane thought.
It's more insane than Mars.
It's more insane than Project Bluebeam, honestly.
Yeah, this is at least plausible.
Yeah, so what's not plausible is transmitting VLF radio waves. There are groups that are working on alternate ways to form ELF and VLF waves because it would absolutely revolutionize the way we communicate across the world. But as of now, there's not a way to make that happen. Okay. And that is the foundation and the backbone of this idea that they can do this diffused artificial thought is through these low frequency waves.
Gotcha. Okay. So you just disproved that. So I'm going to go down to 1.5.
Because the thing too is like bring back that infrasonic. These lower frequency waves can and do affect us psychologically.
Yeah.
So that is a proven thing. And so I guess it's not a stretch to say that if the government or a government entity could control that, they would.
Yeah.
They absolutely would, and they would use it for nefarious things.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree with.
Okay, so you're down to...
That's what cicadas are, if you can hear them outside of...
It might be able to hear. I love cicadas.
I agree.
I love the sound of them.
Yeah.
I love that they just stand in a tree and shriek.
Yes.
It's so great. So that's the end of step 3. So far our steps, which it feels like each step invalidates the one before it.
It seems that way.
Yeah. So we have earthquakes and artificial artifacts,
which at the time I think I feel like we thoroughly went through that, but now I'm like that's a fucking dumb idea. Now that we're here, yeah,
and it only gets dumber.
It's like, why did we even waste our time?
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like we're going from the most doable to the least doable. Also,
yeah, like
we can bury artifacts and we can do earthquakes.
And we have faked science before, many times.
Oh, yeah. I do it all the time. People think I'm a chemist, actually.
Right, of course. I thought you were.
I'm not. I just wear a lab coat and walk into places.
Okay, so step 1 was the artifacts. We were at 2 out of 10 at step 1.
Step 2 is the, I think it's the laser light show. Yeah. The laser light show that's going to show the second coming of various messiahs. And
I think we stayed at 2 out of 10. No, we moved.
I moved to 1 out of 10.
And then I was at 3 out of 10 and then went back down to 2.5 out of 10.
And then step 3 is using ELF, VLF, and LF radio waves to telepathically control. Also, by the Antichrist, but It's still TBD on if this guy's real or not.
Right, and it also still feels like we have enough faith in humanity to have everybody come together, and we seem to dislike the way that religions have alienated a lot of groups of people, and by a lot of I mean like at some point every group of people against another.
Yeah,
it feels like
the unbridled optimism of this conspiracy theory.
But then to turn around and be like, but in order to bring us together, it still has to be religion.
Well, I guess religion is probably the thing that unifies people the fastest.
Disagree. You know what unifies people the fastest?
What?
Food.
You know what unifies people the fastest?
What?
That Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial.
That's the end of the episode. Cut it off. 10 out of 10.
I think about that at least once a day, honestly.
That's a funny ass Roman Empire.
It's just, honestly, I don't blame Kendall Jenner. Seems like something that a Jenner would do.
She'd be so out of touch to even know.
Pepsi.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Whoever was on the writing committee, the film, like whoever was making decisions, you could just know that all of like the actual working class people who were in this commercial were like, this is so stupid. This is the dumbest shit I've ever.
Do you watch The Boys?
No.
So in the latest season, they parodied that.
Did they really?
And it was so funny. Yeah.
I love that.
So well done.
Okay, so we're at step 3. I am going down to a 1.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm at like 0.001 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Step 4. A simulated alien invasion beginning this very year, actually. The year of our Lord 2024. Now, remember, he wrote this 30 plus years ago. So, in the year... this is Monast's quote. In the year 2024, a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic.
But we've already done like a lot.
We've done a lot. We've done the Messiahs.
Like a really losing.
We've done the Antichrist. We've done mind control. And
at first I was like, I know that I said it gets a point in the pro category because it's so overcomplicated, it's very human.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, I feel like maybe you just need an editor.
Well, yeah. Maybe Project Blue. Yeah, it's, like Coco Chanel always said, take off the last thing you put on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if the UN, the Pentagon, and NASA were all together.
Think Coco Chanel said that. I think it was Anna Wintour. Anyway, sorry, go on.
I would have believed you. In my head, I was like, I know who Coco Chanel is.
I'm almost positive it was Anna Wintour. Sorry, go on.
I also know who that is. Okay. Anyway, I'm just like patting myself on the back in my head, like, yeah.
I know those people. I got that reference.
But you're telling me that in the trifecta of government daddies, which first of all, also by the way, also plus,
yes.
If we're going to go back to the trifecta, I did not think about this until just now, because we're projecting worldwide to all people all of the time.
Yes.
2 of those government agencies are in the United States and run by the United States.
Yeah, so very much.
That feels like maybe not enough other places.
Yeah, I guess the UN is all
the others.
All of the others, but yeah.
Very American.
But yeah, why is NASA and the Pentagon the ones taking point on this?
Right, like it's like a stack deck.
If somebody really wants to do good propaganda, get the Chinese in on this. Get North Korea in on this.
North Korea could do it. What are other places that do
Russia,
propaganda? Literally everywhere. Probably everywhere. Russia is really good at it.
England.
England.
They did this weird thing where they made it good that they colonized the world.
That's true.
France, until the guillotine came out.
Yeah.
So pretty much anywhere.
Okay, so number 1, you're losing me there. Now that I've thought about it, I was distracted by the daddies. But now I know.
Relatable.
I know about them now. Okay, and also, like you said, we're just undoing the steps that we've done before.
Well, and so I'm going to give him a pass on this one because he just guessed the year wrong. If this step 4 is supposed to happen this year, we've missed a couple steps because we have not seen
because you're right,
any holographic Antichrist. We have not seen these earthquakes unearth all these things. I don't think that we've been receiving fake messages from God.
Or very low frequency waves.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Unless that's what the
cicadas are. Oh my god.
We're not supposed to be able to perceive them. We can perceive the cicadas.
Well, the cicadas are making a perceivable noise.
It's the sound in between the cicadas.
It's the sound in between the cicadas.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. Can
I do feel like I'm having a conversation with God right now.
I'm going to make a chart. You know my big pad of paper?
Yes.
I'm going to keep track for the rest of 2024. If there is going to be an alien invasion, I'm going to keep a lookout and see if any of these other steps have happened.
Here's the worry that I've always had about this podcast. Is that this is going to turn you into someone who appears to be a crazy conspiracy theorist.
I think that
the pad of paper is a bad step.
Have you noticed that in the last several months I've just really leaned into my crazy girl era? I'm just like really letting all the inside thoughts fly.
Like, I'm going to have to talk to Caroline and be like, she cannot buy red yarn. She can't buy it.
We're not allowed.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fair because in my head it is a joke.
Yes.
But there is some worry that I think is valid. Okay, so, but I'm also saying this step is dumb.
Okay, it is, but there's more to it.
Okay.
So this is probably the most detailed he is. So he said that this could happen with what he called 3 different orientations.
Okay.
One is to make mankind believe that aliens are about to attack every major city on Earth.
Okay.
A la Independence Day. The second... Oh my god, did he make this around Independence Day?
That's the 6th movie.
That is... Because an alien force is threatening every major city in the world.
Yeah. And humanity has to come together.
Huh. He's just watched movies.
I think that because sci-fi was really big in the 70s and 80s.
Well, so, I have this bit. I don't know if you've seen it yet, where I talk about, I was talking to this guy who said he was a documentarian, and I was like, oh, what kind of equipment do you use? And he's like, just my mind.
Yes, I do remember this.
And so I was like, this man has memories, and he thinks he's a documentarian. This man has watched movies and thinks he's uncovered something big. Like, that's...
That's how it feels, because every other line we're like, yeah, that's the plot of a movie.
Yeah.
And I think, and again, some of these movies came out maybe after this, but that's what I was saying about stories existing one way, most likely exist in another, and he maybe had access to that.
Yeah, and you're right, like, sci-fi was very big in the 70s and 80s. You got a lot of pulp sci-fi out there. So that's the first one. The second is to make Christians believe... I love this one. Let me just tell you right now. The second is to make Christians believe that a rapture is happening, but instead of getting sent to heaven, a, quote, good alien force is coming to save Christians from the satanic force that is the bad aliens.
We're going just shockingly down in believability.
What got you on that one? But what's funny is I thought we got rid of religion.
I thought we got rid of religion, and also 2 sentences ago, we said that there's an alien invasion that's being projected that's going to come and attack. But now there's a good alien force?
So this is 3 different ways that this could happen, basically. So the first way is Independence Day. The second way is Left Behind with Nick Cage.
Okay.
The third and final orientation is a bit of a doozy. Compared to the other ones, even. So according to Monast, the third orientation, this is a quote, in the 4th step, is a mixture of electronic and supernatural forces. The goal of this one deals with the global satanic ghost all around the world in order to push all population on the edge to drown into a wave of suicide, killing, and permanent psychological disorder.
I want to go back to steps 1 and 2, where we were all coming together. I want to go back. To steps 1 and 2. Steps 1 and 2 combined, 8 out of 10.
Steps 1 and 2. This makes steps 1 and 2 seem like the most plausible thing that could happen.
I don't understand stepwise. What are we doing?
So here's the thing.
This is like somebody being like, I have a 10-step plan for you to learn how to ride a bike.
And each step is
every step we get farther and farther away from the bike. And at step 10, I'm going to just run you over with a car.
Yeah. Step 4 is get in a spaceship. Like that,
yeah, exactly. Get yourself acquainted with the advanced technology of transportation, and then also I am going to run you over at the end. And never once will you get on a car or get on a bike. This
caught me up for a while.
Just imagine you up at night, staring at the ceiling.
Because up until now, I appreciated even the cynicism of the governments are tricking you into believing that religion or supernatural things are real when they're not.
Right.
But this one, now they are.
That also, I thought supernatural. So there's the supernatural bits. It's high technology, like advanced technology, and
yeah. So we have a mixture of electronic forces and supernatural forces. The supernatural forces are global satanic ghosts.
You want to know what I'm really missing throughout all of this? Apart from NASA, is what I guess you kind of said it about the UN, but what is the Pentagon doing?
What is the Pentagon doing?
Like, where? I don't actually see them present in this so much as I see this man has a plan.
And, I don't know if you've caught this, but there's not much of a through line here at all.
No, we're just combining everything we've ever thought all at once, every other conspiracy theory all in one. And then a satanic horse from the Denver International Airport is going to kill its creator and become God.
Yes, exactly. So after that, any one of those, or a combination thereof, in the ensuing chaos, there would be a result of step 4. NASA and the UN.
No Pentagon. Nope.
Would phase out cash and replace it with a specific cryptocurrency and begin to, quote, eliminate the concept of independence. Now, I will give this to him. 30-some-odd years ago, he predicted crypto.
That is good. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems to be touching on some stuff. He's like the Simpsons of the 70s. Did the 70s?
Well, he was a journalist in the 70s and 80s. And
the Simpsons came out in the 90s?
Yeah, and he, in the late 80s and 90s, is when he started this. And the Simpsons came out in the 90s.
Coincidence?
I think not.
Okay. So here, okay. Kudos to crypto. But again, why wouldn't we start there? I would start with changing...
With phasing out cash. Yeah, if you want something that's really going to get people by the short hairs...
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Money. Yeah. It's really money and religion, so I guess they got both of them.
So I think the plan is maybe to bring us all together and then to tear us all apart?
I guess. No, I think the idea is to bring us all together and then get rid of our independence. To be totally dependent on
the New World Order?
The New World Order, I guess. Now,
I'm trying so hard to follow it. I was so bored.
I got one more little thing I'm gonna...
Okay.
So, everyone, after they eliminate the concept of independence, according to when asked, would then be forced to accept the New World religion known as the Cult of Man. There's so much specificity in this.
Okay.
Anyone who resisted would face a number of extreme punishments, from labor camps to public execution.
Okay.
So, yeah, now we've got our totalitarian fascist regime that's set in place. But we have, fake supernatural forces, real supernatural forces.
Right. A fake and real Antichrist, it sounds like.
Yeah, fake and real Antichrist, mind control, aliens.
Laser shows that you can see from anywhere on the face of the earth.
No religion, but somehow still Christians, which would fucking happen.
Yeah.
It would fucking be them.
And then the Pentagon is around?
Yeah. The Pentagon... So here's the thing, is the Pentagon, it's like, the older brother on Happy Days.
Yeah.
He starts out there, and then it's gone, and nobody mentions him again.
Okay, let me, not to yuck this guy's yum. more than we already have. But if you were going to instill a totalitarian regime, and there would be stark punishments, like labor camps and like real bad juju, for anybody who doesn't agree, why did you go to the lengths to do any of the other stuff?
Is it... Because you're right, and that's everything here is supposed to be in these steps, but every step makes the last step pointless.
Yeah.
Or it contradicts the last step. But I guess with that one, it's like supposed to be the final nail. Like you've done everything to get people to believe and agree on their own terms.
Yeah, and they're vulnerable now.
Yeah, and so anybody left is an outlier who has strong independent thoughts who you'd want to get rid of.
Right.
I don't know why I'm arguing this guy's case, but so that's step 4, which is the final step, and then I've got a fun Reddit post. But what are you thinking about step 4?
Okay, well here's what I think about step 4. Step 4 sounds like how you just like start a cult. Like you find a population of vulnerable people and then offer them the thing that they need, which is safety and community.
You make a fake threat, right? Yeah. Like there's this threat out there. In this one, it's aliens, satanic ghost. Christians are mentioned. Lasers.
Sounds that we can't hear.
So this fake threat out there. I can help you.
Yeah.
And only I can help you. So come with me. Which I guess is what he said the UN and NASA and the Pentagon are doing.
So I guess, and that maybe again, if that's the final goal, then you as the cult leader have all of this real tangible evidence to point back to and be like, well, remember when all this shit happened?
Yeah.
Clearly I know what I'm talking about.
And so I guess, again, too, the very first thing you want to do is start to strip away their own beliefs. Like, you want to erode the old beliefs.
Which is why we start with no religion.
Yeah.
But then we bring it back.
But then we bring it back.
And then take it away again.
We take it away because they all become one.
Right.
And then the Antichrist telepathically lets us know that all of the scriptures have been misinterpreted.
Right.
And then, with that same telepathic stuff, we have mind control. And then at the end, for some reason, aliens.
And also cryptocurrency, but in this situation, I don't know why you would need money.
Well, okay, so I guess
if you have a new world order, there's no reason for money.
There's no reason for money. Just get rid of money.
Yeah.
So we've eliminated the religions. Paved the way for a new religion. Okay. Via mind control.
Right.
And now that religion needs a threat that it can beat.
Okay.
Which is aliens and satanic ghosts.
So, I want to ask this
also, Satan's
question.
around here.
Right. I want to ask this question to this guy. So, in this situation, we have all these things happening. What about, regular, life and, our jobs that we just need? So, what about doctors? What are doctors doing in your cult? You've stripped it away from everybody, so it feels like everybody's a shell of themselves.
Yeah.
Can we still be doctors?
Do we have accountants?
Do we have healthcare?
Yeah. Also, you can't ask Monas because he died of apparent suicide 2 years after this, which is just the worst possible thing.
Yeah. That is very unfortunate.
So, I think 2 years after this. Well, actually, no, because... so here's the thing, is r/conspiracy theories. There's actually r/Project Bluebeam. I love Reddit conspiracy theorists. This guy has given us a timeline of every piece of evidence, quote unquote, that he believes is attributed to Project Bluebeam.
Oh my god, that's what I was going to do with my paper. Oh, this is taking all the work away from me.
So I'm not going to give all of it because there's
a lot, probably.
Quite a bit. So it starts in 1947. Remember, I said it went that far back with Roswell, the Roswell incident.
Got it.
And also, right after that, 1947, Project Blue Book, not Beam, is established by the U.S. Air Force, which is a real thing. It's a covert, systematic study of UFO. So it was not. And by real thing, I mean it might not have been. I don't know. Don't come for me. In 1953, classified CIA documents, is now declassified, submitted by former United States Director of the CIA, Jesus Christ, Walter B. Smith, details how UFOs could be used as psychological warfare. I think this is like how Taylor Swift could be a psyop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like the public perception of UFOs could lead us to fear-mongering and saying something is coming for us, whether or not that is true or not.
Exactly. 1955, Area 51 is built.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did talk about that.
This one is funny for me. 1975, just the way that they announced this, man. U.S. military intelligence serviceman Gene Roddenberry, who is the creator of Star Trek, writes a script for a Star Trek film which has the basis of Project Bluebeam as its plot, but the film was never made, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
Then there's this... You know what? I'm going to read a few of these because they all kind of... Some of them tied together. 1977, German and American aerospace engineer and space architect Werner von Braun spends the last few months of his life with cancer, explaining to Dr. Carol Rosen that an alien card is going to be played by the government and that it is all a big lie.
Okay.
And she talks about that later, which is why that's important, I guess.
I feel like now we have to go back to the Area 51 episode.
Yeah.
And do a follow-up.
Yeah, with this is it.
Were we just being lied to the entire time?
And let me give you a couple quotes from presidents of the United States.
Okay.
1987, President Reagan. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside the world.
I just feel like that's true. Hopeful. Love it. Togetherness.
Also, he had Alzheimer's.
Also, he was the worst.
And he was the worst. He also said, perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. And then 4 years later, 1991, George H.W. Bush gives a speech where he says, what is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in a common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind.
Yeah. This doesn't feel sinister or related at all.
It's a new world order.
Yeah.
Which he did. I went back and watched. It's on YouTube. So let me see. There's also...
That's just politicians being like, maybe we should stop killing each other.
He has here, so in 1994, Serge Monast releases Project Blue Book. 1996, the police arrest Serge Monast for homeschooling his children and take his daughter away.
Oh, no.
There's more, I'm sure. The following day, he's released from jail and dies. A heart attack, not suicide. What? Okay, sorry. There's stuff that goes all the way to February 2023 with that surveillance balloon. But yeah, none of this is evidence.
No.
And this is what they all sound like. And very paranoid delusions, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I am sitting comfortably at 0.00039 out of 10.
That's good. Oh, Dr. Carol Rosen, she came back in 2009. She gave a speech at a UFO Disclosure Project, which is a thing, I guess, explaining her conversations with Werner von Braun. That's it. That's why she comes back.
Okay. I mean...
Here's the thing. A doctor at the end of his life talking about the government making lies about aliens is not proof.
Right.
Is not proof.
Right.
And the thing is, usually I feel like we can get these conspiracy theories that we can at least tie it to something.
Well, we
can't even tie this to itself.
No, we certainly cannot do that. But we can say that if you were to try to explain every weird thing and human nature all at the same time, I would maybe come up with this.
Okay.
You know?
Maybe. So I think what's weird is all of it, but the specificity is weird to me.
It's also weird that some of it is super specific and some of it is not super specific.
Yeah.
I want to know what the artifacts are.
And then so much of this, like, is pulled from his own quotes, too. Like, so this is what the man said.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense.
I feel like this is a man with a plan. This is a man with a pitch. Netflix wasn't around, but this is what Netflix was made for.
When did Independence Day come out? Hold on. Independence Day movie. $1996. So that's the year that Serge Monast died. Coincidence? So it's a firm 0 out of 10 because this is based on nothing.
Yeah.
There's no anything that this is concretely tied to. It is a conspiracy theory, I think, that contradicts itself multiple times over.
Yeah. It's like if you gave me one of those, maybe.
Now, yeah, exactly. If you told me if we went on the earthquake thing alone, if we just went step 1, we have some stuff to go off of.
Right. We've faked history before. We know that we can. We know that we can cause earthquakes, and then maybe somebody would tell me what the fuck this artifact would be. Yeah,
that's what I would need to know. What is it?
Yeah. And also, again, you've brought this up before with conspiracy theories, which I think is a good idea to bring up here. The amount of people and money and resources that would have to go into this, you would not be able to keep this quiet.
No, and accountants are still going to account. Yeah. Like, even if they hide it and move it around, it's all like government money. You can see the financials. It'd be insanely hard to hide this.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, all the people, somebody's going to leak it.
Like, literally around the world all of the time. Plus, you need, like, every satellite ever created for forever.
Boeing can't even keep its people quiet.
Oh, my God. And Caitlyn Jenner isn't doing shit! Or Kylie Jenner. Kendall.
I was like, that wasn't right, but then my brain stopped. Kendall Jenner.
Caitlyn
Jenner also isn't doing shit.
That's true. Kendall
Jenner has not healed racism in America. But yeah, what's wild to me is not the conspiracy theory, because people come up with crazy shit all the time. I do think that he might have been a paranoid schizophrenic. What's crazy to me
but also we don't necessarily understand those terms, and so if this is not any prejudice or anything like that.
I've seen TV shows.
Correct.
It just seems like there was a schism, there was a break.
Yeah.
And so not using that in a negative term at all, he's saying that might explain
like something where like every, like, again, because a lot of this sounds like the plot of like 10 movies.
Yes.
It's like all of that fed into this could actually be what's happening. Maybe based on this guy's investigative journalism career, where he's like, people do stuff that we don't know about. Stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that blows my mind is not that he wrote this book.
Yeah.
Is that people ardently believe it. Yeah. Like, how do you read this and think, this is right?
I am more likely to believe the Earth is flat than I am to believe this one.
I am more likely to believe that King Charles is a vampire to believe this one.
Oh my God, King Charles could potentially be the real Antichrist in step 4.
Yeah. Really 2 through 4.
2 was the fake Antichrist.
Oh, 3 is the real Antichrist.
So step 3 is when Charles comes in.
Yeah. With his sausage fingers. And Camilla.
In his silly little outfit.
Yes. And terrifying royal portrait.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That does kind of scream vampire.
It does. That's honestly, it came out after that episode. And I'm like, is the universe taunting me?
It must be.
Because also, Avril Lavigne has been following me around.
Also, actually, sorry, to come back to this.
Yeah. Oh, the thing we were supposed to.
Why is it called Project Bluebeam? I didn't see. Give me that.
Lasers.
I guess I do think of lasers as red.
I do too.
That's why I didn't think of it.
That's Hollywood's fault, and they did that on purpose to distract us from the
what's
actual
actually
blue
going
lasers.
on. That's why there's an increase in blue light. Everybody.
Yes.
Okay, now it's coming together.
Yeah. So that's Project Bluebeam. Final thoughts. I mean, we've already kind of.
I really feel like we have gone on a journey with this one.
Truly, I wanted to be able to follow the thought process.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's no through line here.
I want to tell you too that at the very top of this, you said that this season you aren't doing very dense episodes. This was a dense episode.
Oh, no, it was. Okay, I'm bad at that. It was crazy.
But it is crazy.
I guess in my mind, dense is also maybe more...
plausible?
Plausible.
Okay.
Because this is dense, but I was thinking about Pope John Paul I's murder. That was a dense episode.
But it's like a little bit maybe.
I might believe that one, actually. Yeah. I don't know. But this one, I wanted... And I wanted to do this in season 1, and I told you that I had this episode, and I wanted to do it, but I could not find a way to structure it.
Yeah.
Can you see why?
Yes. I feel like, because then he would say something, and I'd be like, oh my god, we actually talked about that ad nauseum.
Yes.
2 seconds ago.
Yes.
And now we have moved to something so far different.
I wish this guy made movies.
It's, again, I'm going to go back to the metaphor of, trying to teach somebody how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
And then, now that we've come to the end of it, step 10 is getting run over by a car. And then step 11, 12, and 13 are being, kicked by 12-year-olds. While you're down.
I think that it's really funny that we faked supernatural things, but then somehow at the end there was real supernatural forces.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the 12-year-olds says, I'm the Antichrist. Do you want to join my cult? And then that's how you learn how to ride a bike.
That's Project Bluebeam in a nutshell. Well, you guys let us know your thoughts on Project Bluebeam. You can, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment underneath. You can find us at Who's Funding This Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, at Who's Funding This Pod on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Or write to us at who'sfundingthispodcast@gmail.com. Let us know conspiracy theories you want us to cover.
There seems to be no shortage of conspiracy theories, but we have not heard of them all.
Now, I posted on my own social media asking people to give me their favorite conspiracy theories, and gosh, I have 30 episodes worth. Just from people commenting.
I love it.
Yeah, crazy. So this season you can expect a lot of more fun, crazy, silly conspiracy theories. I don't know if we'll have our season 2's version of Chaos and Excessive Secrecy. I think
it should be New World Order Consulting Firm.
Oh, the New World Order Consulting Firm.
Yeah.
That's merch right there.
I know.
I would wear that shirt everywhere. I would make business cards.
Right.
Yeah. New World Order Consulting Firm. You heard it here first, folks.
If the TM
trademark. That's how you trademark things.
I call dibs. And I call also dibs. I call also dibs on being part of this Bluebeam where everybody is together and happy, and then you can leave me out of the rest of it.
Yeah, from the alien part.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.